landing a great job can be incredibly competitive. In fact, the difference between the candidate who gets a job and the candidate who gets second place is often very, very small. But in today's video, I'm going to give you 3 secret interview techniques that you didn't know you needed. They're going to help you differentiate yourself from other candidates and get the job. Let's go. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is something I like to call behavior mining. So what is behavior mining? Well, first and foremost, if you are qualified for the role and you get an interview and you end up talking to a recruiter, most of the time, if you are qualified, that is just kind of a check the box interview. For example, if you end up talking to a recruiter at the company, it means you are qualified. It means you are probably a good fit for the role, and they just need to chat with you to make sure that you're a good candidate. They want to have a few questions. They want to learn a little bit more about you. Basically check the box before they get passed on to a hiring manager. So what can you do to make sure that you not only pass this interview, but you set yourself up for a great second interview with the hiring manager? This is where behavior mining comes in. So behavior mining is basically knowing that you'll probably pass the initial interview. You ask the recruiter a few different questions. They're going to set you up nicely for the second interview. Now, that first question is, what do you think are the biggest gaps on this team that this person is going to sit on? Now, what are you doing there? You're finding out from the recruiter, who often will have inside information about this team, what skills are they lacking. The hiring manager has done a kickoff with them internally where they have a conversation, they talk about what they're looking for, what they're hoping to find, and typically that conversation will also include, I don't have someone on my team who can do blank. Now, if you ask the recruiter this, it's likely they will give you that information. Then when you go to meet with the hiring manager, you can play up your ability to do the thing that the team is lacking. Now, you obviously need to have the skill, but for example, if they say, I really don't have anybody who has sales ability on my team right now, and you happen to have that sales ability, when you go and you interview with the hiring manager and they ask you, Ben, why do you think you're a good fit for this role? You can list a few of the things that in your background that make you align for the role, but you can also say, in addition to that, I also have a pretty strong sales background, which I have found to be helpful in this role in the past. What you're doing there is you're finding out ahead of time what it is the hiring manager is looking for, and you're demonstrating that you fit that need they don't have in their team currently. The next question you want to ask are, what have been the skills, traits, or backgrounds of people who have previously been exceptionally successful in this role? What you're doing there is you're trying to find a way to behavior model, right? You're asking the recruiter, hey, what are the people like who have been amazing at this role? And then they're going to list out some background, some experiences, some behavioral traits. And when you talk to the hiring manager, you are once again going to exemplify those traits that made previous people successful. That right there, that's behavior mining. You can find the things that you need in order to make yourself be a more appealing candidate in the first interview for the second one with the hiring manager. The next thing that you need to do is you need to view every single job description as a problem statement. You are solving a problem as a candidate. Most candidates look at a job description and they spend as much time reading over it as recruiters do looking at a candidate's resume. Not enough time. But if you look at that and you evaluate it and you treat every single must-have and every single task as a problem, you can change the way you view it. And when you can interview letting them know that you are here to solve a problem. Must do A, B, and C. They don't have someone who is doing this right now, or they don't have enough people who are doing that. So when you go to interview and you talk about your skills, your abilities, you phrase it in a way that you are capable of solving their problem. You talk about the way you've gone above and beyond. You talk about the way you've driven results in previous roles, specifically targeted to the problems they have shared with you in the job description. This is a small one. It's a mindset shift. But if you can sell yourself as a candidate who is out there actively solving problems, you will be very appealing to hiring managers. The last strategy that I need you to do is create an impact list. I'm a big proponent of these, and basically what they are is you look at your last 3, 4, 5 jobs. Open up a Word document or a OneNote document and put the company and the role that you were in. Then I want you to think of 1 to 2 of the most impactful projects or initiatives you were involved in. And then write out the details. How long did it take? What was the impact? What would you learn? What would you do differently? What were your specific tasks? And then what was the monetary or improvement impact that you had on the business? What you're going to do is you're basically creating this list to familiarize yourself with the things you have accomplished. Why do you do this? Because you go into interviews and they're going to ask you behavioral interview questions. They're going to say things like, Ben, can you give me an example of a time when you did blank? And a lot of the times, candidates can't think of an answer. And if they do think of an answer, it is often not the best answer. And the reason why is they haven't spent enough time familiarizing themselves with the things they have done in the past that have made them effective in their previous roles. So part of preparing is absolutely making an impact list, familiarizing yourself with the things you've done, the most impactful things you've done, and preparing to use these examples for answers. If you prepare a list of 5 to 10 things you've done in your career that were highly impactful, I can guarantee you when you go in and you answer interview questions, the examples you have prepared yourself on are going to be able to answer the majority of questions you're going to be asked. And you're going to be much better off because you're going to be intimately familiar with them. You took the time to familiarize yourself and you're ready to speak to the things you have accomplished in previous roles. I'm telling you, if you just rely on your memory and assume that in the moment when you're nervous and you're under pressure and they're firing questions at you, you're going to remember all these things, you're not going to be as well prepared and you're not going to come off as strong of a candidate. Now this video is done, but I want you to watch this one. This video right here are red flags in the job description. We talked a little bit about job description, but do you truly know when you read a job description if it's going to be a great job or a bad job? This video here will help you differentiate between the two so you don't waste your time interviewing for a job that you don't ultimately want.